Coordinate plane, take 2. Alright, so what we're looking at here is called the coordinate plane. The ordered pairs that we name points with are also known as coordinates, and you might have seen like a movie about war or something. Give me your coordinates. Or you might think GPS coordinates to locate things. Not a coincidence that that's the same word. So this coordinate plane is formed by this horizontal axis. That horizontal axis is called our x-axis. Go ahead and mark that out too. And then there is also a vertical axis, straight up and down. That is our y-axis. And as you can see, the one straight up and down is similar to a thermometer with negative numbers at the bottom and positive at the top. Where those two axes meet, there in the center, that point, that ordered pair, is 0, 0. And it has a special name. It's called the origin. It's like that's where we start. It's where everything begins. And then those two lines, as you can see, divide the coordinate plane into 4 sections. Those sections are called quadrants, and they are numbered, and it is typical that they are numbered using Roman numerals as opposed to our normal Arabic Hindu numerals. In case you never knew, the numbers we use are Arabic Hindu number system. But we're going to use Roman numerals to label the quadrants, and it starts in the upper right. And I'm going to kind of abbreviate. This is quadrant 1. From there, we go to the left. We go counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2. This one is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. I don't really like the way this one looks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, if you trace those, it makes a C for Miss Carolyn, because you know it's all about me. Hardy har. Okay, so when we label our points and when we find points, when we look at an ordered pair, it's always X and then Y. And X tells me side to side, tells me from the origin, go left or right, and Y tells me go up and down. So if I have a point 2, 5, then I would go 2 to the right and 5 up, and I'd be right here on the edge of this box. So first number tells me left and right, second number tells me up and down. So in this first coordinate, all of the points in the first coordinate, all the x's are positive and the y's are positive because it goes to the right and up. In our second quadrant, the first coordinate, the x, would be negative because it goes to the left, but it still goes up. When it's in quadrant 3, it goes left and down. So x and y are both negative in quadrant 3. And then in quadrant 4, the x would be positive because it does go to the right, but then it goes down, so the y is negative. All right, so we're going to have a chance to practice on the other side of the page and on IXL. So never fear. And again, you can practice with the drag and drop on Jamboard. I would like everyone to do that. So on the back side of this, what I'd like you to do is practice. You'll look at this top picture, which is pretty small, it looks like. So, and for instance, I see the first one says E. So I'm going to look for E, and here's E. And E is 2 to the right, and then down 2. So for E, I'm going to write 2, -2. So for those first ones, by the way, you're not looking at these letters, you're looking at those capital letters. So those first ones, you're looking at the graph at the top and finding the coordinates for those points. The coordinates are like the address for the point. At the bottom, they give us the points and we're going to graph them. Now, the ones that tend to be trickiest for people are the ones with zeros. So, for instance, let's take a look here. Got just a little bit smaller. Let's take a look here at 0, 1. So the first one, the x is 0. So from the origin, I'm going to go 0 left and right. I'm not going to go at all left and right. All I'm going to do is go up 1. And then that's going to be right on the line. Now, when we put points, kind of like they did at the top, after we put the point, we're going to put a label somewhere near it. Don't try to put the letter directly on the point. It's not going to fit really anyway, so just somewhere near the dot. So what we find is anything, if there's a 0 in the x, it's going to be on the y-axis. And if we have a 0 in the y position, like h here, it says -8, 0. So from the center, go left 8, but don't go up and down, because go 0 up or down. So it would be right on the x-axis. So when y is equal to 0, the point is going to be on the x-axis because it doesn't move up and down. I'm sure you noticed that you have several new IXL lessons today. The first one that I want you to work on is G1, and G1 is what we just talked about the coordinate plane. So, for instance, this question asks, what are the coordinates of point E? So, to get to point E, I would go 3 right and up 3. So, in this case, even if I had it mixed up, I would probably still get it right because they're both 3s. So, 3 and 3. They give you a box for each one, so you don't need to type the comma. So the coordinates of point U. So remember the left, right, so from the center, U is 5 to the right. And then how much up and down does U go? Oh, it doesn't, so that's going to be a 0. So point C there is pretty similar, 3, 0. And then after you've done some where you identify the points, then you're going to be asked to graph the point. So -2, -5, So I'm going 2 to the left and down 5 and then click. Okay, so you can't click here. If you click when you get to -2, I mean, you don't want to point there. That would be -2, 0. -2, -5. Kind of like Battleship. Sometimes people also think of it this way. -2 on this one. And -5 here. And then they kind of think about where do they meet. So left and right, first coordinate tells me left and right, second coordinate tells me up and down. -10, +3. -3, -9. I drifted. I was almost at 2, -9. So probably one of the last questions you'll get before you hit 80, they will have 0.5s in them, so like halfway. Now you need to think about when you're in the negative, that 2.5 or -2.5 is over here to the left of -2, because it would be between -2 and -3. So this is -2.5, -1.5. So if they both have 0.5, then it's going to be out in the middle of the box, not touching a line at all. And then the other point, 2.5 and +2. So it just asked us to graph 2, but they also included 0.5. The negatives with the 0.5s are probably where people get in the most trouble. And then just a little more of that. So obviously I skipped a level, so I didn't have quite as much practice. But I don't foresee this giving you big issues, or at least I hope not. All right, so please ask if it does. Go ahead, be sure to do the Jamboard and G1, and then come back for the second video.